Taiwan debuts a new military exercise aimed at addressing an emerging threat. Dignitaries from around the world gather in Taipei for the Yushan Forum. Tornadoes tear through parts of the U.S., killing dozens and wreaking havoc. Plus, 100 policy briefings. Taiwan's main opposition party, the KMT, says it's touring the country to win public support in a looming legislative recall battle. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. We begin here in Taiwan, where the country is starting a new kind of military exercise this week. What the Defense Ministry says is to handle emerging threats from China. Defense reporter Jaime Okan explains what this exercise is all about.
Taiwan is carrying out what it calls unprecedented military drills. Now, while the exercises don't have an official name, a rough translation describes them as immediate combat readiness exercises involving all branches of the military, which will last for 5 days. Sources have told TaiwanPlus that these exercises are not live fire, but they do practice a scenario in which China turns gray zone activities quickly into an actual military attack. We will see troops dispatched and mobilized to various defense positions. Many people are calling these exercises mini Hangguang, referring to Taiwan's largest annual military drills, which simulate how to respond to a full-scale attack from China. The Hangguang exercises take place at the end of July, and so one of the goals here is to get troops ready for those drills. China has already responded by sending 26 military aircraft as part of a patrol around Taiwan. Taiwan is conducting these exercises as a response to China's gray zone warfare. Gray zone warfare describes aggressive actions that are definitely not peaceful, but also aren't an act of war, pushing a weird in-between gray area on how to respond. These activities include suspicious cargo ships operating around Taiwan, looking for undersea cables, as well as now as psychological warfare. This morning, an official account from China's Ministry of State Security released the full names, photos, and ID numbers of 4 individuals from Taiwan's Information Electronic Warfare Command. They say they're a henchman of so-called separatist forces supporting Taiwan independence. Taiwan's Electronic Warfare Command has responded by reminding that it sees China as the biggest threat to security in the Indo-Pacific. Taiwan's Defense Minister Wellington Koo said earlier in March that one of his priorities is for the country to tackle China's gray zone threats, which is why exercises like this week, in which the military responds rapidly, will most likely increase in frequency in the future. Alex Chen and Jaime Okan in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
In an increasingly uncertain world, like-minded democracies must stick together. That's the message coming from the Yushan Forum, an annual meeting of global figures. Rick Loud reports.
This is the Yushan Forum, a meeting of global dignitaries here in Taipei, hosted by Taiwan's Foreign Ministry. Now in its 8th year, the annual 2-day meeting looks to build bridges across the Indo-Pacific, raise Taiwan's voice in the region, and lessen economic reliance on China. President Lai Ching-te says this push should now include like-minded countries further afield. This year, a number of important figures from Europe attended, warning of new geopolitical uncertainties under US President Donald Trump.
Since January, the relationship has become increasingly transactional. President Trump sees the world in terms of 3 power centers: Washington, Beijing, and Moscow. We need to ask what that means for countries like Taiwan.
Taiwan uses this forum to push its soft power and foster people-to-people connections, highlighting its position as a high-tech hub that can use semiconductors, artificial intelligence and quantum technology for good.
Taiwan is intent on working side by side with other countries to face the challenges of this new era. Today's Taiwan celebrates not only the democratic achievements that are recognized by the international community, but also our strength in the semiconductor, and tech industries, which enable us to play a key role in restructuring global democratic supply chains and economic order.
Taiwan faces an uphill battle in engaging in important diplomacy like this. China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory, hits out at other countries for engaging with Taiwan diplomatically. But the messages from this forum are clear, that the world order is in flux, authoritarian leaders are emboldened, and like-minded countries must stick together. Klein Wang and Rick Lowett in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is protesting the, quote, unilateral change of its representative office's name in South Africa, calling the country's decision to side with Beijing a blow to democracy. Originally called the Taipei Liaison Office, South Africa has renamed Taiwan's diplomatic mission in Pretoria the Taipei Commercial Office on a government website. South Africa had previously asked Taiwan to rename and relocate the office. Taipei has requested official negotiations to handle the issue, but those have not taken place. China says a Taiwan-based publisher has been tried for inciting secession. China's Taiwan Affairs Office said Monday that Li Yanhe trial was held in February, according to Taiwanese media reports. It said a verdict had been reached, but it did not say what it was. Li, who is better known by his pen name Fu Ca, published books critical of the Chinese Communist Party. He was detained 2 years ago when he traveled to Shanghai to renounce his Chinese citizenship. Taiwan's annual military marathon has received controversy this year after people noticed the race's trophy design featured a surprising item. Chelsea Wu has the story.
And they're off. Taiwan's Three Schools Marathon, the only foot race that takes place inside military areas, is underway in Kaohsiung, but it hasn't gone off without a hitch. Controversy erupted online when several people noticed something wrong with the trophy, which features a rifle, strikingly similar to one used by China's People's Liberation Army.
一开始我以为是6步枪啊，当兵是拿这一种做奖牌的单位，可能自己没有注意啦，因为看到台湾很多奖牌都从大陆那边去制造。
This year's marathon attracted 2,500 participants, many of them former or retired service members. And while many were surprised about the trophy's design, some also said they hadn't immediately caught the difference after years away from the military. The marathon was organized by the Fengshan Jogging Association and the office of Xu Zijie, a lawmaker from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party. Several politicians attended, and it had the official support of Taiwan's Defense Ministry and the Army Command Headquarters. Yet, no one seems to have noticed the issue with the trophy's design.
因为你是要颁给人家的，你要细看，而不是说你大约这样乱过去就好。
The organizers have apologized, promising to replace the trophies and to pay more attention in the future.
承办单位疏失，使用非我国军枪支制作奖杯，我已要求立即回收，造成相关单位及民众困扰，向大家道歉。
The marathon offers a chance for many of the runners to relive their time in the military, but the mistake, from an event meant to celebrate Taiwan's military and national identity, has left some feeling confused and embarrassed. Scott Huang and Chelsea Wu for TaiwanPlus.
Japan plans to deploy long-range anti-ship missiles in its southern island of Kyushu next year. The move aims to protect the southwestern Ryukyu Islands, which lie close to Taiwan. Tokyo fears a possible Chinese invasion of Taiwan, but it cites tensions with Beijing as the region for not considering a location closer to China. The missiles have a range of 1,000 kilometers and, if placed on Kyushu, would put North Korea and China within striking distance. U.S. President Donald Trump says Taiwan's TSMC proves his tough trade policies work. Here's what he said about its chair, C.C. Wei.
Mr. Wei, one of the most respected people in business, forget about chips, from Taiwan. He's coming in, he's spending hundreds of billions of dollars, and he'll be spending it largely in Arizona. But these companies are coming in at levels that people haven't seen, and they're coming in because of the tariffs, and they're coming in because of me too.
TSMC recently announced plans to boost its investment in the U.S. to a total of $165 billion, a sum the White House calls the largest foreign direct investment in U.S. history. Trump has threatened to impose tariffs of 25% or more on imported chips. His administration's tariffs on metals, cars, and medicines have already raised fears over high costs and a global trade war. At least 40 people were killed by tornadoes in the U.S. over the weekend as violent storms hit the Midwest and South. John Van Trieste has the latest.
The wreck of a school bus hangs upside down from the ruins of Winterboro High School in the U.S. state of Alabama, a testament to just how fierce the storm that hit this community Saturday was. An 83-year-old was killed inside as violent winds tore the building apart. One of nearly 40 dead after a weekend of powerful tornadoes, which shredded towns and caused deadly accidents across the Midwest to the Deep South. A satellite trained on one part of the South captured Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas alive and crackling with lightning as severe weather pushed through the region. It was here in Missouri to the north, though, that saw the deadliest of the storms. At least a dozen people died as tornadoes hit the state. Some of them were found by neighbors as they set out to help the injured.
We were helping other people. We found a few bodies that was out in the field, a few deceased people. There was a guy that was probably about a quarter mile back behind us through all these trees and debris. We ended up packing him out on a backboard. His name was Mike Reynolds. We packed him out because he had a broken leg and arm. But it was a rough night.
For the 100,000 or so people who live in these parts of the U.S., spring storms and tornadoes are a part of life. But even people who grew up here were caught off guard by the force of the weekend's maelstrom.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad because we've been through storms before, but not, nowhere near close to this. Especially the time we spent our entire lives in Georgia, we've never experienced a type of thunderstorm like this at all.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he sent the National Guard to help recovery efforts in the state of Arkansas. But in damaged towns across the country, people are also banding together to get help where it's needed.
We started earlier this morning. We rode through, cleared everything, trying to help people see where the help needed to be. We stopped by this gentleman's house right here, and they had a bunch of trees on his yard and stuff, so stopped by to see if he needed help, and that's why we're here now, about to help him out.
But this is just the beginning of North America's tornado season, with activity peaking in late spring and early summer, meaning more intense weather is likely on the way. Joseph Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up after the break, he's the first Asian to complete one of the toughest ultramarathons in the world. We talk with Tommy Chen about conquering the Arctic.
This month's top hits on TaiwanPlus. Taipei's historic buildings hold unexpected ties to distant Britain. Uncover the hidden stories behind Taiwan's architecture. What does home mean to you?
Ya, tak kira rumah tangga itu habis itu happy ya.
5 true stories of Indonesian migrants in their adoptive home of Taiwan.
Asian-inspired cuisine that challenges your perceptions of plant-based meals.
Join the latest season and explore Veggie Island, where every corner offers a feast to delight and surprise. Are fate and love truly predestined? Join us as we seek answers to life's struggles. Vibrant and original programs, exclusively on TaiwanPlus.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, follow TaiwanPlus on socials. Pika!
architecture of Taiwan. Every Sunday, 7 p.m. on TaiwanPlus.
For more news from Taiwan and around the world, download our app or check out the TaiwanPlus website. Ready? Go.
Ready.
Just jump.
Okay, jump!
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Nationwide recall campaigns are gaining momentum in Taiwan, targeting opposition Kuomintang lawmakers. But the party is trying to win the support of the public with some tactics of its own. Tiffany Wang reports.
A massive civic recall movement now gaining strength, with at least 34 opposition Kuomintang lawmakers' seats on the line, as recall motions reach the second petition stage. Campaigners now seeking the signatures of 10% of voters in each district to bring the motions to a vote. A prominent supporter of the recalls, former semiconductor magnate Robert Zhao, has called attention to the movement, standing with members of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and his Safeguard Taiwan Anti-Communist Volunteers League.
这是现在一个真的是台湾未来的一个关键之战。我们很高兴现在大家终于团结成一起啊。那么这个民进党的议员们跳下来了。
This flurry of recall campaigns comes after nearly a year of partisan fighting in the legislature. The DPP has been facing off with the KMT and Third Force Taiwan People's Party, which have used their combined majority to pass bills. At the same time, efforts to oust DPP lawmakers have not made it past the first stage of the process. Now the KMT announcing a new initiative to win public support, holding 100 policy briefings over the next 2 months. The party says it's in response to the recall efforts, which it says is endorsed by the DPP. It's also proposing referendums questioning the abolition of the death penalty and opposing martial law. This after President Lai Ching-te called for the return of military tribunals, a response to an uptick in cases of enlisted and former officers spying for China. The legislature would first have to approve any amendments to relevant laws.
可以因为一人的决定就可以进行宣布，对岸为敌对势力，让两岸进入了一个兵凶战危、准战争的关系。
But the DPP says these claims are unfounded and that there is no martial law. On the death penalty, Taiwan's top court ruled last year that it is constitutional but limited its scope.
国民党一骗再骗，绝对灭顶，骗反会死，骗反戒严。
Whether through recall petitions or referendum votes, both the ruling and opposition parties are urging the public to make their voices heard, to help settle their differences once and for all. John Su and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's top ultra runner Tommy Chen made history earlier this month as the first person from Asia to complete the grueling 6633 Arctic Ultra, a non-stop 617-kilometer race in the Arctic Circle. Our reporter Sandy Chi spoke with Chen after the race about his experience in one of the world's toughest runs.
Tommy, congratulations on becoming the first man in Asia to complete the 6633 Arctic Ultra. Could you tell us what was it like competing in the race?
其实每一天我都是带着恐惧去参赛的。然后第一天其实一出发是零下32度，然后我的装备全部都结冰。过程中其实还发生很多的一些困难啊，包含是我的鞋子冻到破掉啊。到后面只要鞋子一解冻，离开检查站啊，我的腰每踩一步就是痛到快要说不出话来。就是有一次是流着眼泪在走，因为真的太痛了。比赛很多艰辛的过程，就是你只能往前走，就是你一停下来，你可能就会失温，你就是不能停下来，这是唯一的生存的法则。
Did you feel that you were in danger at any point?
危险的部分的话，就是有出现幻听跟幻觉，因为每一天睡眠时间大概是3个小时， 到2个小时，我们就直接赶路了，因为我们知道后面的天气会越来越差，到后面晚上的时候，能见度不到1公尺，然后你听到那种耳朵的声音啊，是跟那种台风一样，风速大到我只能露出就是眼睛一点点的位置，但是你只要有露出皮肤的地方，你只要被暴风雪吹大概5秒钟，你瞬间就会冻伤，所以我也不知道怎么挺过来的。
Yet you managed to make it to the finish line. Could you tell us your key takeaways from the race?
Don't pick up your fear, just pick up your need. 对，所以整个过程中就是克服自己的恐惧，然后一步一步往前，你就会到终点了。所以会让我继续坚持下去，理由就是，我相信未来会到终点那个自己，这是最简单的事情，同时也是最难的事情。虽然说过程中有痛苦，但同时也让我每天都有看到极光，所以我想这也是这个比赛大家真正最孤独的地方，也是他最幸福的地方。
That was Tommy Chen, the first ultra runner from Asia to complete the 6633 Arctic Ultra. Taiwan's rural towns have been seeing an exodus of young people, but one enterprising farmer has returned to his hometown to tell its story through soybeans. Soybeans are a staple in Taiwan. From tofu to soy milk, the bean is a crucial part of Taiwanese diets. The large-scale consumption of soy is exactly why farmer Chen Guangjing takes growing the legume so seriously.
到这边来，除了可以认识黄豆以外啊，认识这些制品以外，其实我们还有一件事情很重要，其实我们透过自然的栽培，然后让我们的环境，然后还有土地都变好。
For Chen, soybeans aren't just a food, they're a way of life. His operation includes educational and hands-on experiences to teach people how soy gets from farm to table.
豆浆一碰到凝固剂的瞬间，反应就开始了。
In his hometown of Beidou Township in central Taiwan, Chen works with local brands to help promote a healthy lifestyle.
我们在做一些食农教育，做一些推广，让他们知道我们吃的黄豆是台湾人自己种的，而且又是健康无毒的。
With every bean planted, Chen hopes people in Taiwan will take a moment to consider what they're eating and where it comes from, whether they're having a glass of soy milk or chowing down on a tender piece of tofu. James Lin and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus. Movie stars from across Asia gathered in Hong Kong for this year's Asian Film Awards. Indian film All We Imagine as Light took home the award for Best Film. Meanwhile, Taiwanese actors Li Kangsheng and Yang Guimei won Best Supporting Actors. Actor Wu Kangren took home another accolade for Taiwan, winning the AFA Next Generation Award. A museum in Tokyo is offering its visitors a trip back in time with a ride away of vintage gadgets. Chelsea Wu has this report.
In a corner of central Tokyo, a unique museum devoted to vintage cameras and telecom technology. The Extinct Media Museum showcases everything from Betacams to floppy disks and classic Sony gadgets, offering visitors like 59-year-old Mika Matsuda a nostalgic journey into the past and a reminder of the everyday items that once shaped their lives.
本当にこの世代生きてきた人たちが見ると、なんか自分の人生がこうフラッシュバックするというか、なんかあの時私こんな感じだったよね、こんな楽しいことやってたよねっていうのもここに来てなんか思い出させてもらえるみたいな面白い博物館だなっていうのを思いました。
The museum, open since 2023, was founded on the belief that eventually all media gadgets will die out. Its mission is to preserve these gadgets, including this Path Baby camera, which dates back to 1922. But what really makes this museum stand apart? Visitors are welcome to touch and hold all the displayed artifacts. The aim is to promote a complete sensory experience.
見ただけじゃ絶対重さはわかんない。こんな重いんだ。こういう風に担ぐんだとか、まあ結構機材って匂いとかもあるじゃないですか。こういう匂いするんだとか、得られる情報が段違いに多いので。
The museum regularly accepts donations
from visitors like 56-year-old automobile designer Hisashi Ito, who bought in a small handheld clock and cassette tapes from his personal collection.
で、それで、まあ、どっちにしろうちで自分で持ってても、そのまんま多分、まあ、例えば自分が死んだら多分そのまま捨てられちゃうと思うんですよね。それよりは、人が見て楽しんでもらえる方が、なんか有効活用かなと思います。
By inviting the community to interact with the gadgets and to donate their own, the Extinct Media Museum not only preserves outdated technology, but also offers a space where forgotten items come back to life. A reminder that even in a digital world, analog memories still hold a timeless charm. Scott Huang and Chelsea Wu for TaiwanPlus.
And thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we head to Spain for an AI-generated exhibition that reinterprets architect Frank Gehry's legacy. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.